Howdy, all Moglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Oh man, I'm still carrying junk I don't need on me here. I don't need those, and I don't need this. I did want to look today, though, to see how close I am to making a mini bike. Mini bike. I can't make the mini bike handlebars yet. So I need Grease Monkey. Grease Monkey level 2. Do I have points? I don't have any points. So I need a level. I need a level to unlock a mini bike. Or I need to find the mini bike handlebars or a mini bike handlebars book. One of those things has got to happen. Let's see. I think I'm going to explore this area today. Just to see what's in there. There might be another little town in there. They seem to be pretty plentiful. So it'll give us a new area maybe to take a look at. Yeah, I was trying to think anything that I usually talk about, like entertainment things. Oh, so I'm reading this book series. It's pretty good. I've been giving it a 4 out of 5 as I finish each book, and uh, The Silver Ships. That's the name of the series. It's kind of interesting because it's pretty long. I think there's like 17, 21 plus books in it now. And I'm used to a lot of these longer series being short books. So like I'll sit down, I'll read through a book in like a couple hours, 2.5 hours. But this series has been quite lengthy, and so I've been hacking at it for a while now. And I like it. It's uh, I think there's only one book that I didn't think really fit in with the rest of the series so far. And so it's about this guy. So it's after Earth sends out colony ships, and Earth is like basically well, it's not no more. Um, but they thought it was going to be no more, I guess, when they sent out their colony ships, and so they had uh, picked stars and sent like these big put people in stasis kind of ships, and so the one ship had made it to its planet and settled the planet with all of its technology and stuff, and then oh dang it, I thought that was a bump and it was a hole. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. And so the other ship that they talked about was damaged and couldn't make it to the planet it was supposed to go to, and so they had to flee the ship with a very limited number of colonists and like almost no technology. And then the planet they landed on wasn't totally hospitable to human life, and so they had a rough go of it. So the book starts on the second world, and they are only slightly ahead of us technology-wise. No interstellar travel. They're just starting to mine the asteroid belts in their solar system and stuff like that. And well, the one guy who's like the main character, basically, of the series up to the point that I'm at, uh, he uh, he was raised as an asteroid miner, but he's really a genius, and so he developed a way to gravity sling um, payloads back to Earth, or not Earth, New Terra, I guess. And so that's what he does is he finds a small asteroid, latches onto it with his tractor beams, um, or however they do it, I don't know, and then flings it toward Earth in a gravity, um, like it'll use Earth's gravity to capture it, and then it will orbit around Earth so that it can be harvested easier. And But he detects an alien spacecraft and hooks up with that. And then when he gets on board, it turns out to be human, but from the first colony. And so uh, they're in stasis because the ship was damaged by an alien race, and none of them have weapons, basically. And so they don't know what to do. And I mean, the people on board the ship are frozen, in stasis and about to die because the ship was damaged, and so the power is going out. But there's an AI on board that helps helps fix everything, and so it's pretty good. And then it travels from there, and basically he builds up a warship and then fights off the aliens, and um, you know creates his own government on a different planet, and then goes after the aliens who caused it, and which is about where I'm at. He just finished with that stuff, and then this is why I wanted to talk about it, because then it got something that I don't think I've seen before. I mean, I obviously haven't read every book in existence, and I mean, who could? And so the the author has in there that now that you've reached this point in my series, I just want to point out that I have a second series, and that you probably are going to want to go read that series at this point, because I'm combining my two series in the next book in this series. And so I've been reading the other series, and you know what? I actually kind of like the other series better. Um, I don't know how it's going to fit in with the current series, because they're not. I mean, they both take place in the same universe. They're both about colony ships from Earth that got, waylaid in. So the third colony ship that they talk about made it to its planet, but its planet had been destroyed before they got there. Like, the planet's still there, but it's no longer a habitable planet because two other alien races basically had a war, and the one aliens tried to defeat the other aliens, and they thought it would be a temporary thing. And then whatever happened, the weapon didn't shut down like it was supposed to. So now the planet is like a energy blasted, too hot to live on, dirt in the air kind of mess. And so but that was pretty good. Although it is very, it's a little weird to me that it's just gonna be like, I'm on the fourth book now. I don't know what's gonna happen. But it's a little weird to me that it's only 4 books long, because I don't feel like that this series is anywhere near a point where it could end. But this one's a little different because they have empaths, which I don't know where those came from because they're not in the other series at all. Well, I guess the main guy is supposed to be kind of how do you pronounce that word? Prescient? Prescient. Is that? I'm not sure I ever tried to say that word out loud. It means you can see the future a little bit, and so he does. Uh, he gets feelings. He doesn't see the future. He just has bad dreams, and then instinctively does things that turn out to be what he needed to do. Like he had a dream about one of his android friends being covered in leaves, and then they met a plant race. And there is a little town here. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good so far. Uh, but at the point they're at, so the first series is traveling in spaceships, and the second series has a little bit of that, but not really. And it's more about gates, and so there's an alien gate system, and so um, the aliens all their civilizations involve these gate systems that were either created by or taken advantage of by another race who left one. I guess they created them, left them at every planet where they thought that the race might be able to. Well, they left them on the moons near the planet, so you got to be able to fly in space and then decipher the control system. Uh, and so, um, but of course, there's the alliance is non-hostile for the most part, and don't allow fighting between sentients. And then there's another group of insect creatures who are trying to apparently, maybe, I don't know, we haven't really explained exactly what's going on yet, but I wonder if this place might have some stuff. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. I need to get on. I can never remember what it's called. I just call it the Weird Kings Chronicles, which is not the name of the series. The Cosmere. There we go. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. He's my favorite author, and he's got a new book coming out here in November, and we're super close. And all his books are like super long, and so there's no way that I'm going to be able to reread from the beginning and be ready in November, because I'll probably still be reading these Silver Ships at this point. I know, like another author I read, Jim Butcher, Dresden Files, has one or two new books this year. I haven't read those in years. And I haven't got away from the sci-fi stuff that I've been reading on Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. It's my bane. I can't stop reading books on there. I never get any other series read because I'm always reading Kindle Unlimited books. Oh, apparently I already have that one. I would like to know if inside this building... Oh, here's another box. If inside this building is maybe some car boxes? Is that what I need? I'm not afraid of you. Oh, I am out of stamina, though. I'm totally gonna get my level up before I even get in this place. I might not. I'm about to enter this place. But chances are I'm gonna get my level up to get my point into... There's no entrance. Is somebody breaking the door down? Yeah. But, yeah, Brandon Sanderson, he's totally my favorite. I like a nice, thick and juicy fantasy series. And I read his first book when it first came out, and I was like, man, this guy is really good. But I didn't learn his name. You know, I mean, like his name is on the book, and I own the book, but I didn't give two thoughts about him because at the time my favorite author was Robert Jordan, and I definitely think Sanderson is a better author. Uh, and and then Robert Jordan was mostly writing the Wheel of Time series, and then got well, I don't think he got it. I think he had it, but it activated genetic disorder, I think, um, and so it got him before he completed the Wheel of Time series, and so they actually picked up Sanderson to finish the Wheel of Time series. Although you know, as much as I like Sanderson, and as much as they had the notes on how the series was supposed to end, I do feel like he doesn't exactly match Jordan's writing style. And but I do really like his stuff. He's got a really long series that I like. I like all his stuff pretty much, except I don't like his kids' books, the Alcatraz and the Evil Librarians. I tried to read that. I just did not like it. It just wasn't for me. I like some of his other kids' stuff. The Arithmetist is one of the best books he has, and I wish he'd write a sequel to it. And it's a kids' book. It's kind of like Harry Potter, ish. It's not exactly the same as Harry Potter, but so yeah, the next Way of Kings book, the next Cosmere novel. It's hard to call it the Cosmere novel because most of his books are related to each other through the Cosmere. So the King something, the, I don't know. I call it the Way of Kings, anyways, because the first book is the Way of Kings, and so it's a uh, cool thing, in my opinion, is that watch out for those buzzards. Just gonna go ahead and get this out right now. Where you at, buzzards? I don't even see them. There must not be any here. I do find it suspicious. Alright, there's nothing up there. And, so, like, he's got a novel, Warbreaker, right? And so some of the people in Warbreaker are actually in the Way of Kings because people travel between dimensions in his books. and but it's super fun for me, fantasy. Uh, I like big like redemption arcs and stuff like that, and so um, it's um, it's pretty good redemption arc, uh, and I like restructuring of society because people realize that the way it's been is wrong, kind of thing, you know, and like uh, they've been told one thing, but it turns out that it's not true, kind of thing. Big twists like that. I like that in a novel, and these are like that. I rather enjoy them. All right, I saw there was another place like right here. I don't know if there's an easy way to get over though. Well, I guess I've got. Maybe I can just poke a hole through it though. Um, but like I guess spoilers. Spoilers. The first novel, The Way of Kings. Okay, the first one for the Way of Kings series, because like I said, Warbreaker, Elantris is part of it. Um, uh, the Mistborn books, I believe, are part of it. Mistborn's is a big series so far. Well, Mistborn's is medium-sized book, big series. Way of Kings is his big book, big series, like 1,200 pages in a book, kind of thing. Uh, uh, oh, why are you making that noise? That is clearly wood. Oh, and now you switch to wood. But in the Way of Kings series, I really like it. I really like the way uh, it's got this storyline where the um, a group of warriors uh, are so powerful that they're basically immortal, and they have vowed to keep the planet safe from these otherworldly invaders. And so it turns out that the way they have to do that is they have to sacrifice themselves so that the invaders are sealed away, but they get sealed away with them until like thousands of years of basically being tortured by this evil entity that controls the creatures. And so the book starts with them deciding they can't take it anymore, and only one of them goes back to be tortured, and they're like, as long as he remains faithful, then the world won't end, kind of thing. And so I mean that's the start, right? Oh, sweet. And that is the moped. I have to, because I can't stand this slow bicycle crap that's happening. Speaking of slow bicycle crap, I need to go back and get back to my bicycle and head home, I guess, here. What you can do? What you can do? You get punched in the face. And so then you got that evil entity, right, who's trying to control things from behind the scenes, and so then you've got the guy who was left behind, right, and And then you got those warriors who are still immortals, and some of them are like corrupted by the fact that they left that guy to be tortured for thousands of years. And so you got them in the mix, and then uh, they do this thing where the color of your eyes matters, and so the I think it's light eyes. Whoops. All right. So like blue eyes people are more important than brown eyes people, kind of thing. And the reason being is that if you unlock powers and become what they call radiant knights, who are shunned by the church at this point because they betrayed humanity, according to the church, whatever is going on with that. Um, your eyes turn blue. And so it just, so we'll see if I can get through this real quick because it's one of my favorite scenes ever in a fantasy novel. So you've got this guy, all right, and he grew up. He's brown eyes. He grew up. His father's a doctor, and they lived in a small village, and they do this thing with gems. So gems are, uh, oh man, there's so much stuff in these books. So there's like fairy creatures, right, that are part of the planet, part of the like the Everstorm is, like a fairy creature and an elemental creature. And so if you leave a gem orb, an orb with a gem in it, out in the Everstorm, then it gains light. And so the better the gem, the brighter the light. And so they use these gem orbs as money. And radiant knights are able to absorb this power. But besides that, the better the gem, the better the light it gives off. And so, because his father was a doctor, the local lord gave him the town's treasury to light his surgery. And so they just had a basket of these, gem orbs. And so, whatever happened, I don't remember. It's been a while. I know the previous lord dies, and a new lord is sent to take his place, and the new lord is like from a bigger city, and so he's very arrogant about the differences between blue eyes and brown eyes, and so they end up fighting over the gems, and the uh, um, and then there's a war going on, and so they conscript the dude's Kaladin is his name. They conscript his younger brother, and so he goes with his younger brother against his father's wishes, because his father wanted him to be a doctor, and so he goes with his younger brother, and so it turns out that he's like a weapon prodigy, a military prodigy, and so he fights with a spear because brown eyes aren't allowed to hold swords, and uh, and so they've got this magic armor stuff that seals itself onto you, called shard plate, and then there are shard weapons. So if you get shard plate, you become nobility. You just do. And the only way to get shard plate is basically kill the person who has it and take it from them. And so during these wars, nobility try to hunt other nobility to get shard plate. And so uh, uh, Kaladim's brother gets killed, and he winds up fighting for this dude, this nobility guy, nobleman, and uh, Kaladin kills kills a shard bearer, which is unheard of because he doesn't have any special weapons or stuff. And so the rules are that he should get it. And so when the nobleman comes to congratulate him, Kaladin says he doesn't want it, and to give the uh, different pieces to um, his troop. And so the nobleman doesn't have any, and so he orders his men to go and kill Kaladin's entire group of soldiers that work under him, and then they brand Kaladin as a runaway slave, and then he takes the armor for himself. The nobleman does, and so Kaladin now doubly hates because of what happened when he was a child and what just happened now. Doubly hates the nobility, and so you get some of that through flashbacks. You get that story through flashbacks. So then Kaladin gets sent to the front lines of the big war that's going on, and he becomes a bridge carrier. And so the nobility and their soldiers use bridges to cross. So uh, like the ground they're fighting on looks like something struck the planet and cracked the ground open all over the place, and so they need bridges to cross the chasms, and so they make slaves carry the bridges, and then the slaves get killed, and so they just keep shipping in more and more slaves, and so a lot of the book is about Kaladin trying to keep his people alive, and so my favorite part in the whole book is there's this other guy who is a nobleman. He's the brother of the king, and the king dies the king dies because of an assassin. But when the king dies, he's drunk, and so he wasn't there to protect his brother, the king. And so he has dedicated himself to being a better person, basically. And then he starts having visions, and he's reading The Way of Kings, which is this archaic treatise on how to act as a king. And only he's having visions of what happened to the person who was writing it. And so they think he's going mad, and they're trying to hide that. And so his nephew is now the king, and so they're there on the front lines, and he's trying to get the people to work together because he's having visions that something worse is coming. And currently, the noblemen all fight each other for the spoils of war, and he believes they all have to work together or else everyone will die. And so during one of the battles, where he tried to get another nobleman to work with him, that nobleman made a deal with a different nobleman, and they pulled back to let him be killed by the enemy, which are these bug-like creatures called the Parashindi. And so Kaladin betrays his lord uh, to save um, Dalinar, and so when they get back to camp, uh, Kaladin knows that he and his men are going to be executed because they didn't obey an order as slaves, and so Dalinar talks to the Lord who's over them, and he's an awful man, and he wants to buy Kaladin and his people, and not the guy who owns Kaladin, but Dalinar wants to buy out the contract for Kaladin and his people so he can free them, and the dude refuses, and so he'd offered him a price that's like the price for slaves, and so then he offers him an absolute fortune. Um, and so Caladan is like, all right, maybe this guy isn't going to betray me. And then and then the dude is like, uh, tells him no, he won't accept a fortune for them either. But what he will accept, or no, and he goes, he won't accept the fortune either. They're his slaves, and he will deal with them appropriately. And so Caladan is like, well, I mean, they already offered, you know, like $25 million for one group of slaves, and was refused. And so he turns to walk away because he thinks that, that's it. I mean, what else can they do? And then Downer pulls his shard blade out and uh, asks him if he'll, because the dude he's talking to has shard plate armor, but he doesn't have a shard blade, which is the weapon that goes with it. And so Downer offers him the priceless and irreplaceable weapon that he has, if he'll give up the slaves. And it's my favorite. It's my favorite part. Caladan turns dejectedly to walk away because he's been betrayed once again by the noblemen, that he just keeps trusting, that they'll do what they say. And so I mean, this was a little different because he knows the guy at least tried, even if nothing was going to change, and now they're going to die. And then as he's walking away, Downer pulls out the blade and is just like, "Here, take this then." And that's like a kingdom's worth of money, basically, for a shard blade. Uh, it's just one of my favorite spots. It's just, I like how heroic it is. Um, and then it goes on from there. That's just the first book, and then I think this is book 4 or 5 is about to come out. Um, I want to say it's book 4. Plus, there's been some novellas, so it's not like book 4. It is like book 5 or 6 is about to come out, but the other 2 books are small books. But yeah, my favorite author, man, Brandon Sanderson. He's awesome. If you like big epic, Lord of the Rings kind of fantasies, or like the Mistborn books, the first set are fantasy books, that take place sword and sorcery kind of thing. And then what I like about the Mistborn series, and this will just be the last thing, and then I'll quit here. What I like about the Mistborn stuff is the first set of books is like fantasy, and then the second set of books are like the 1800s. And so like the main character was like a Wild West sheriff bounty hunter guy, and now he's back home in London, basically. And it's kind of like Indiana Jones a little bit, but they still have like the magic abilities that they had in the fantasy stuff. Only they've been brought forward and applied to like not quite steampunky, but kind of steampunky era with the 1800s and guns and all that, airships and stuff like that. And then the next, it's supposed to keep going. So he's got, I think, one more book in the Wax and Wayne series, and then the series after that is either supposed to be 1920s gangsters or 1980s Cold War spies, but once again with the magic system that is in place already in the world. And eventually it's supposed to go to sci-fi, like Star Trek era sci-fi with that magic stuff. And he has written a book, or a short story, with some of that in it. But yeah, I'm excited to see where that series goes. Uh, and then he's got the Reckoners series, which is kind of like The Boys but clean. It's about a group of people who hunt evil superheroes, supervillains, but they're just regular people for the most part. And then the his newest series that I've been reading is about a girl who lives on a planet that's surrounded by wreckage, and there's aliens that keep attacking, but they can't get through the wreckage to attack the planet directly. And she finds a ancient starship buried in the dirt after getting some military training, um, and so uh, she fights back with her alien spacecraft. Well, it's not alien; it's just ancient and far more advanced than what they have now because they, basically hide in underground cities from the alien bombardments. But yeah, he's got a lot of different stuff, and I really like almost all of it. So, anyways, be better than the small things. Lean into the light. I will talk to you later.